Welcome to First Chapter Fridays. I'm Miss Karen. This is Dudley. And the story that I'm reading today is called Scary Stories for Young Foxes. I looked around, I could not find a fox. This is the closest I could come. I think he's kind of fox-colored. Unfortunately, it's a Dudley. But I think that he's going to find this particular story to be quite interesting. You're willing to listen, aren't you, Dudley? He likes scary stories. He likes fall. He's usually pretty agreeable. No. So, Scary Stories for Young Foxes, Chapter 1, with Dudley. The haunted season had arrived in Antler Wood. The sky grayed, the leaves blushed red, and mist coiled through the trees like something alive. Even the pumpkins began to rot and show their true faces. On these chilled autumn nights, it was best for fox kits to remain near their den on the edge of the wood. There they could feast on apples that tumbled from high branches. They could hunt for smoky acorns and crunchy stick bugs and juicy mice. And when dusk turned to starlight, the kits could return to their den, tuck under their mother's fur, and be soothed by her heartbeat. "Tell us a story," the alpha kit said one misty night. "Make it scary," the fourth said, yapping and hopping. "Yeah," said the third, snarling, "so scary our eyes fall out of our heads." "Please stop biting my face, children," their mother said. The kits behaved themselves while she smoothed out a bed for the night. "Let's see," she said. "How about Rattlebones?" "Mom," the beta said, rolling her eyes. "You told us the story when we were 2 weeks," said the alpha. "It's boring," said the fourth. "Very well," their mom began ripping out roots that had snuck through the den's walls. "How about Willoughby Wallaby and the Floating Paw?" "Seriously," the fifth kit said. "That story wouldn't raise the hackles on a field mouse," said the fourth. "It's kit stuff," said the third. "Well," their mom said, "those are the stories I know." 7 little foxes sighed. "Sorry to be a disappointment," their mom said, lying down. She paused and looked at the kits with all seriousness. "But you must promise that no matter what you do tonight, you will not go to Bog Cavern." Their ears perked. "What's Bog Cavern?" the alpha asked. "That's where the old storyteller lives," their mom said. "If you go there, you'll hear a story so frightening it'll put the white in your tail." The kits stared at their thin, dusty brown tails with wide eyes. "Wait a second," the fourth said, looking at the fluffy white end of the mom's tail. "You heard the story." "Only part," she answered, "and I wouldn't repeat what I heard for 1,000 mice." The kits gave one another meaningful looks. They didn't want some toothless story like Willoughby Wallaby, which could be forgotten with a shiver and some milk and a lick on the cheek. They wanted a story so scary it would prove their bravery and change them forever. All except the little one, that was. She preferred the sound of her mom's heartbeat. Yes, it may have been wise for fox kits to stay close to the den once the leaves began to fall, but the fog and the frost and the old crimson moon had stirred something in their whiskers, and so they waited until all was quiet, save but their mother snoozing, and then 7 little foxes slipped out of their den with a mission to scare some white into their tails. 7 kits snuck into the night, over the log, around the stone, across the creek, and through the grass, deep into Antler Wood. The trees threw their limbs up as to frighten them away. The little one slowed at their warning. "Come on, Sticky Paws," the beta kit whispered. 7 kits crept through the wood, beneath the bone-white branches, past the broken trap, beyond the cave of snoring, over the human bones, to the entrance of Bog Cavern. Roots dripped over its mouth. Fog oozed from its throat. The kits squinted into the darkness, but saw nothing but a pile of bones and skin. "Is the storyteller dead?" the fifth kit whispered. The fourth kit sniffed. "Sniff, sniff, doesn't smell dead." "Someone go nose it awake," the third kit said. "Don't look at me," said the beta. "I like my nose." "Shh," said the alpha. The bones stirred, then jerked up so abruptly every one of the kit's paws left the ground. The little one scurried behind her beta sister. The bones sat themselves upright, forming a sort of fox silhouette. Eyes flashed green in the darkness. "What have we here?" the storyteller said with a voice like spilling dust. "Sniff, sniff, humph, grovelers." The beta gave alpha a nudge. "Oh, the alpha said, voice cracking. "Would you tell us a scary story, please?" The storyteller sniffed again. "Too young. Come back when you've lost your milk teeth." The fox kits clamped their muzzles shut. The little one hoped this was enough to get her siblings to scurry home, but no one budged. The alpha cleared his throat and delivered the speech he'd prepared. We're smart enough to know that stories are harmless as the wind through the leaves. They cannot pluck our whiskers or break our bones or strip our skins. A silence grew behind the roots, so complete it seemed it could suck the kits into the darkness. Sure of that, are you? The storyteller asked. 7 little foxes tried not to shiver. 2 of them succeeded. All scary stories have 2 sides, the storyteller said, like the bright and dark of the moon. If you're brave enough to listen and wise enough to stay to the end, the stories can shine a light onto the good in the world. They can guide your muzzles. They can help you survive. A cloud slid off the moon and shadows reared up around the cavern. The Antler Wood seemed darker now. There was light. But, the storyteller said, if you don't listen closely, if you don't turn tail from the horror and don't stay until the end, then the darkness of the story can swallow all hope. It can frighten you so deeply, you'll never want to leave your den again. You'll waste away the days of your mother, forever smelling like her milk. The wind pawed at the leaves. The moon shined on the gray fur of the storyteller's face. So, do you still want to hear the scary story? 7 little foxes gulped. Only the alpha nodded. Come closer then, the storyteller said, and we'll see which one of you makes it to the end. The alpha marched forward. The third hesitated a moment and then followed. Then came the beta, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, trembling. The littlest fox gazed back through the Antler Wood, over the bones beyond the cave, past the trap, beneath the branches, through the grass, across the creek, around the stone, over the log, toward home. She breathed deep and padded close to the cavern with her siblings. 7 little foxes sat and listened. Our story begins, the storyteller said, in the Evie Wood. So, you can see a picture of the fox and the next chapter. And if you are intrigued about the stories in this book, go to www.oakmontlibrary.org and check it out.